Hello and welcome back to another AOR Project Cars 2 League. After our very successful Formula C League, we are here for some GTE action. Can't wait to get this started. We are at pre-season at the Circuit of Americas. As before, I'm joined by the lovely and wonderful JP McKinley.
Thank you very much for the lovely introduction. Yes, tonight we are going to hopefully have some proper look towards the future for the league with this testing to see who's going to be battling who and who's going to be looking for the championship. I have no idea what's in store. We are currently 13 minutes left of qualifying, so let's jump straight into that there. People are currently on the road laps. And let's just see what times these guys are going to be able to provide.
Yeah, I believe in time trial we're looking at around about a 2-minute lap time for some of the fastest laps. I think 1:58 is the overall fastest GTE time around here. Obviously weather conditions permitting. We are expecting a dry race today. A nice midday event, so shouldn't be any chaos at all on track outside of the usual driving. But driving standards should be pretty good today. We've got some names that we remember from Formula C. We have Crab making an appearance, just coming into the pit lane now in his Ferrari.
We have WMDR Martin, who was our, I was going to say shock winner, but I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to put him down like that there at the Red Bull Ring. He had an absolute masterclass of a strategy to grab the win in the Formula C a couple of weeks back. He's lining up now for his first hot lap, and he gets a bit squirrely coming into the out of the last corner. He crosses the line that is started. Let's see how he gets on in this flying lap.
And you can see his signature window wiper flailing away in front of him, just keeping that tempo for him as he makes his way around turn 1. These cars should have access to traction control. I believe none of them have ABS or stability control, so traction control is all people should have access to for this, but it looks like he's got it turned off for looking at that graphic. Whether that's a choice of his, but looks like Martin running without traction control.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of first long sweeping left right hand corners, very Maggott and Beckett-esque as you go around those that first sector, just left to right, shifting down through the gears and shifting back up again out the other end. As you come around the hairpin at the far end of the track, and now a long straight all the way down to turn 12 now. This is where setup is important. With the first sector, obviously you've got the left, right, you need a car that can handle that, and at the same time, the straight's quite long down there, so you want to have not too much downforce in your cars, but we are actually on default setups, so it's nothing the drivers can do themselves, but the car choice will definitely play a part. They can choose between the loose and stable default setups for this series.
Yeah, for sure. The what I was just going to say there before, when Martin's come down the back street, I think when they were designing this track, they took a lot of inspiration from, as you said, Maggott and Beckett, and also in the final sector there, the turn 8 of Turkey. They definitely took a lot of inspiration from a lot of other well-known tracks around the world to try and make this track as popular as possible. And WMDR Martin puts in a 2-minute 3.9, which currently holds second place on the grid.
Here we have a newcomer currently on pole, Valeside. Not seen them before in AOR, but I believe they've been racing a few times previously on PlayStation, I believe. But they're joining us now on PC. See what sort of pace they can put in here.
Yeah, taking the big leap over to the big boys now on PC. The definitely seems to be carrying a lot of the speed over from the PlayStation. And he's 7/10 up already on the time that he's already posted, so he will be in the 2:01s if he can carry on this lap.
Yeah, with it being such a long track, every qualifying lap here is pretty important with how easy it is to also get the track cut penalties and wasted entire laps, sometimes 2 laps if you get it in the last sector. So Ailside making the most of his lap so far, being 7/10 up as he comes around the penultimate corner now.
You need to be super careful there to not invalidate, as you can run wide on the second to last corner. As he comes up to the line now, and he does improve by 6/10, so he did lose something in the last sector there, but still improved overall.
Yep, first person to get into the sub 202s as we jump to Ultimate Cars A, who I believe was around for the start of the Formula C season, at least the pre-season racing. Or was it LMP2, which was the previous league again. So he's been around in AOR before, definitely one of the faster guys on the circuit, as you can see with him being P2 at the moment on the grid.
Yeah. And holding P4, we got Lord I don't know with a 2:04, and he was just jumped by Crab, who was struggling earlier on and saying that he does not like this track with this car, and this is probably why he's gone off at turn 1 at the exit after setting that time for P5.
Yeah, it looks like he may have had traction control off and he's just turned it back on now after that incident, so he's not a fan of turning that TC off. You can see it lit up there on the graphic in the white to show that he's got it turned on. There's a choice of 6 cars, I believe, for this. I'm going to try and remember off the top of my head. We at least have the Porsche 911, the Ford GT, we have the Chevrolet Corvette, the Ferrari 488, Aston Martin Vantage, and I believe there's one more car, but I don't think anyone selected it.
I think there's a BMW in there.
Yes, there we go. The BMW is an M6, I believe. Could be mistaken. I'm not very good at BMW spec models. They always seem to
I'm more of
confuse
a Japanese head myself. And Velside has again improved with a 2:01.3. Fantastic lap.
Yeah,
8/10 up.
A great showing there for the first time on PC. Showing that the console guys can cut it here. Amazing time there, being 9/10 up on second place.
And another guy who was pretty fast in the last season that we commented on in the Formula C was Keyboard Blondie. He seems to be pretty struggling here. He's sitting down in P18 with a 2:12 as his fastest lap, full 10 seconds off the pace. He's got 5 minutes left to do another lap, try and get himself further up the grid. He's currently on a slow lap as he just let Ticklish Picklewickle, who's sitting in 14th, through. But definitely Keyboard Blondie having troubles down in P18.
Yeah, we know they can do a lot more than this. We saw them in the Formula C League. Had a few good finishes, a few top 10 finishes there. So Keyboard Blondie, I think, will be hoping to repeat that performance here today.
And there's another BMW of Darefield who's currently the last out of everyone who set a time, but he's coming across the line now. See where it puts him. Up to P12. He's right behind the other BMW of Ticklish Picklewickle, who is 11th.
Yeah, we have some very tight times there. Looking, the gap between 9th and 10th is just 1,000th of a second, and 11th and 12th is 2,000ths of a second. So if qualifying is anything to go by, this should be a very tight race. Just so people know the format,
yeah,
it is a 15-minute qualifying session, followed by a 70-minute race. So here today we'll be doing a 36-lap race of Circuit of the Americas. And some other races in the season will be longer ones, 90-minute races, but we'll go through that calendar after qualifying has ended, just to show you what you have to look forward to.
And breaking news, unfortunately for Crab, all of Crab's fans will be very disappointed to hear this, but he has been disqualified for a pit lane violation.
Is that actually going to disqualify him from the rest of qualifying, or is he going to be put to the back of the grid with that disqualification?
I do believe he will be able to start the race, but he will be starting from the back of the grid. But that's a big shame because he was sitting P5.
It's got him as P4 at the moment in the standings, so I'm not sure.
No,
is that Crab that we're looking at? Oh, okay, that's not Crab.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's who we're riding on board with now in the Ford.
Okay, so yeah, we'll have to pay attention to that. Unfortunate for Crab there, but you know, some practice from the back of the grid, some practice battling through cars for him. Again, he's one of the fast guys again, so he'll be looking for top 5 finish or so. So we'll see if he can work his way back up from there. He's got 70 minutes to do it in.
WMDR Martin now coming around the last corner, trying to set a faster time. He's sitting in P7. Not the best exit out of the last corner, but can he get anything out of it? He doesn't improve. Clank is holding P6 and the big Corvette coming down the back straight. It's incredibly close. He just needs a slight improvement and he will get in to at least the top 6. Kerwinek was a brilliant time and sitting now in P5 in the Porsche with a 2-minute 3 flat.
Yeah, I think we missed out on Kerwinek in the Formula C League, so it's good to see him back here again. He used to race back in the GT3 days of Project Cars 2 before a certain Assetto Corsa title came out to take all the GT3 drivers away. But it's great to see him back in Project Cars here.
Yeah, definitely. Kerwinek was actually my teammate in the final season of the GT3 on Project Cars 2. And he was a good smidgen bit faster than me, but he was definitely a great teammate. He gave me some great advice and was set up help and stuff. So he's definitely a great driver and he knows how to help and play the team game.
It's good. Yeah, I don't believe he's teamed up with anyone yet for this league. We have a couple of teams signed up. We have a few independents, few teams. So we have 7 teams signed up at the moment. The rest of the drivers are independents. Teams are just 2 drivers that are in the same car and will have either matching or similar liveries. Unfortunately, if you see a lot of white, black and red Porsches, it's because there is exactly 2 liveries and they are pretty much identical to pick for the Porsche. So if you see the Porsche happening, it could be any of the people driving it because they all look the same, unfortunately.
But we will do our best to keep everyone informed on who is driving these cars. And here's a new name to me as well, as Nilla and the Aston Martin sitting P15. Again, pretty close. If he could get maybe even another 10th, he could jump about at least 2 to 3 places. Coming down the back straight, heavy braking. Heading out to the final sector, it's twisty stuff. Qualifying is over. Veltra can't seem to improve anymore in his 2013. Alteric Makazi can't improve either. And Kerwinek has jumped up to P3 with a fantastic lap of a 202.6.
Yeah, seems like he's jumped in the pit stop. It's a great time by Kerwinek. We'll see if in P4 is currently Big Wilk, who is our 2nd place finisher in the Formula C Championship. So that goes to show the pace of these top 3 guys at the moment. Big Wilk on his final lap now, coming through to the penultimate corner. Opted to take the Ford GT for this event, for this season. Seems a very popular car for this. I guess it's quite well balanced and it's quite nice to drive on these default setups. And he puts in a time that does not seem to have taken him any faster, so it looks like he's settled for 4th place there in qualifying.
And we'll have a look at Clank, who is currently on a slow lap, so we'll jump to Lord I don't know, who's also on a slow lap. And WMDR Martin now coming to the line around the final corner, cuts it as much as he can. Absolute drag race now to try and get back in to the top 4. Can he do it? He doesn't.
Still, but got to be quite happy with that top 5 starts. 3rd row of the grid. It's quite a good place to be with this field, as seems like most of our drivers around the hairpin is Weeborg now. DFR coming across the line. 14th currently. Will he improve? And he does improve to P. Well, it was P11 initially, but I think someone behind him dropped him down to P12 after that.
GC jumped up to P10 and pushed him down. So there you are. This is your starting grid for tonight's free practice. Sorry, not free practice. The testing for the pre-season. We got Velside and P1 in the Ford. We got P2 Ultimate Kazi in the Corvette. We got Kirwinick and P3 in the Porsche. Big Wilt P4. WMDR Martin P5. We got Crumb P6. Lord I don't know in 7th. We got Clank, a fellow Celtic Romance, in P8. P9 we got Ticklish Pickle and GC Raider P10.
And from 11th we have Crab, so it seems like he's kept his position, but he had a 2-place grid penalty in P11. Deophile, P12. Needlap also gaining a penalty, dropping into 13th. Gregwin in 14th. Captain in 15th. Neela in 16th. Exus taking 17th. Deepa Garage in 18th, I believe that was. But they've now gone off my screen as we're going into the grid session, but we will be doing a rolling start here. So with Project Cars 2, the in-game rolling start is a little bit sketchy, so what they'll do is they'll do a manual rolling start where the first lap will be spent with the coordinator, Ticklish Pickle Wickle, organising it all, ensuring that the drivers get around safely for lap 1, and we'll do a rolling start as you'd expect to see in a real race, and basically lap 2 is when the real racing will begin. But before we get started with that, as it may be a while they do their setups and pick what they want to do and set up their fuel strategies, let's jump over to the league calendar to see what we have to look forward to for this season. So today we are here at the Circuit of the Americas for a 70-minute race, and next week will be round 1 of the season, taking us to Watkins Glen International for a 90-minute race for the first race of the season. It's a track that I really enjoy, Watkins Glen, so I'm looking forward to seeing them race around there. The week after is Road America for a 70-minute race, followed by Alton Park International, which is a very interesting choice for GTE, being such a tight, narrow, twisty track. These wide, powerful GTE cars, it's going to be interesting to see them around there. Laguna Seca as well is a similar one, another 70-minute race there, followed by Fuji GP for a 90-minute one with mixed weather conditions, which is surely gonna put the cat amongst the pigeons there. And finally we go to Oschersleben for a 70-minute race to end up that season.
Yeah, for sure, and I can tell you now, the one that I'm definitely going to be looking forward to the most is Fuji. It's one of my favourite tracks to race on in this game, and the fact that it's going to be mixed weather conditions, it just makes my heart that little bit more happier.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute incredible one, and you hear the lights going out, but don't worry, you're not missing any action, because they are doing their rolling start lap, so the race has not actually started yet. But going back to the calendar, as you see the time progressions as well in the boxes next to it, so you've got 10 times for Watkins Glen, 10 times tonight. Obviously when it's mixed weather conditions, it's not going to make too much difference, I guess, but it is going to make it so you have night cycles to deal with, so you may see quite a bit of nighttime driving in a few of these races. But, again, I think Watkins Glen is definitely the one I'm looking forward to. Season opener, 90 minutes at a track that I really enjoy. So Yeah, let's get back to the action now and watch as they do their formation lap here.
Yeah, when they come around to the final sector, they will all line up 2 abreast, and then when they come to the start finish, it will be at the discretion of the leader. The pole man, Velside, will be the man who decides to drop the hammer and take the start of the race. Will he catch Ultimate Kazi sleeping, or will Ultimate Kazi anticipate the move and try and make a move up into turn 1?
Yeah, it's always the advantage of being on pole position, being able to decide when you want to set the field off, and you of course get the inside line as well every time from pole position. It's pretty important on a track like this when it's such a tight hairpin at the start. You want to be straight onto that apex, because you have someone Keyboard Blondie trailing with behind the field at the moment, just trying to catch up. But we have a question from Happy Owl in chat. Good to see you here. Do GTE cars have TC and ABS? They just have TC. Yes, Kalamazoo is correct. All you have in these cars is traction control. So we've seen a 70-minute race. They're going to have to look after their tyres, especially in the braking zones. They start flat spotting those early. You may see people take fresh tyres. The league was going to do 60-minute races, but found out that the Ferrari was pretty much unpickable because it would not make 60 minutes where every other car could. So the races have been extended to 70 minutes to make sure that every car now needs to at least do a fuel pit stop. But tyres are free choice, so some people may try and push it for the whole hour, whole 70 minutes, sorry, on these tyres, or they may decide when they pit to get some fresh rubber and take them to the end.
Yeah, but here we go. We're starting to line up. We're going 2 abreast. Everyone's getting side by side. They're getting a bit frisky already. We can see in the 3rd row there the Ferrari on the inside of WMDO Martin.
Yeah, I have to say as well, I enjoy the fact that there's such a mix of cars in this field. In terms of the top end, it's not all dominated by the Fords or the Porsches. There's a top 4, all different manufacturers. So it'll be great to see this race as they come down towards the start line now. It's up to that Ford of Valeside, the number 7. To put the hammer down when he wants to go. And there he goes, he is off, hurtling towards turn 1 now with a great start. Ultimate Kaze has picked it up as well and stayed on his tail. Looking to the inside, but no go in there as Valeside claims turn 1. Keeping the order as it goes. It seems that everyone's made it safely around turn 1 as they go down the sweeping right-hander into the never-ending S's of Circuit of the Americas. It's Valeside still in the lead, followed by Ultimate Kaze, followed by Kirovnik and Big Wilkes tight on his tail there.
Yes, amazing couple of first section of corners. Not one bit of contact with anyone so far. This is what we want to see. This is why we all try to strive for with AOR, and this is a perfect example of what we like to see.
Yeah,
and already the top 2 guys have already pulled 2.5 seconds on P3, as P3 Kirwanek has got WMDO Martin almost up the inside.
And a lock up there by Martin as well. That's not going to be good on lap 1 of the race. Tyres still cold and locking up. They start to see him struggling on those tyres if he keeps doing that. See Big Wilk now.
Big Wilk looking to have a move on Martin. Martin's not sure if he should defend, but he's going to try and hang around the outside. There's almost contact. Big Wilkes thinks better of it to hold back, and now Martin is going to have around the outside of Kirwanek, and what a move around the outside of Kirwanek and WMDO Martin up to P3.
That was a fantastic move there by Martin, having to first defend from Big Wilk and then attack Kirovnik. That's a bold move, but he's made it work. Let's see if he can pull that gap and start chasing down the top 2 of Valeside and Ultimate Kaze now.
And this is a crazy battle for P5. We've got Big Will, Clank, Lord I don't know, and Gerwinick all going at it as they dive down out of the finals corner. I'm not sure if Kirwanek has maybe he's got a bit of damage because he seems to be quite slow. He's already lost 2.5 seconds to Martin in P3.
Yeah, that could explain why there was such a gap from the first two. Maybe Korovnik has been holding Pal MDR Martin up on that first sector of the lap. But we'll see now as the field starts to sort itself out. Lord Idaho defending there from Gwegwin behind as they go through the first sector, through these S's. No real overtaking opportunities here. It's so fast and there's only really one line around that first sector.
Yeah,
at least these
you won't
first
really get
S's.
You won't even get much of an overtaking chance unless you get the first corner slightly wrong. Then the car behind will have a bit of a chance, but even at that there will be a risk when they try to overtake you.
You know, Lord Idaho with Gwegwin on the inside. As they go into the hairpin, has Gwegwin got the move done there? We'll see how the throttle is coming out of it. It looks like Gwegwin has got that move done to sneak ahead of Lord Idaho. And yeah, that move was definitely done on that hairpin. Great move there by Gwegwin to send it down the inside.
Yeah. Oh, the BMW went quite deep there of Ticklish.
Yeah, no harm done, just time lost on the track there. I don't think any damage would have been picked up, but there was a bit of contact from the other cars. There's a bit of contact there as well with Neela and Ticklish getting together. Now Neela is side by side with Exu.
And Crum, who started in I think it was P6, I believe, has had a terrible race and has dropped way down to P12 now.
Yeah, still a long way to go. Could have just been one error, especially this early in the race. One error is all it takes to drop a few positions. So see if they can pull that back over the remaining 65 minutes or so of this race we have remaining. It's Crown looking at the inside of Neela into turn one. Very deep on the inside, and that move over the curb may have lost the traction there. Neela could attack back on the inside, and they do, to keep that position ahead.
And currently the fastest man on the track is WMDR Martin. His last lap was a 2:02.6, which is way faster than our leader. He did a 2:03.3. I think if Martin can get past Ultra, he can possibly push on and try and catch the leader and make a race of this.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting now to see if how quickly WMDR Martin, or if he can get past Ultimate Kaze. As you said, he is faster by over 2 seconds on that previous lap to Ultimate Kaze. Just getting the braking right. See a bit of brake smoke there again. Just got to look after these tyres. No ABS in these cars, so a bit more of that, and you could see his tyres disappeared by the end of the race.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Martin will have a huge amount of confidence from that overtake that he did on Kierwinek. And I don't believe that we missed it, but Clank has just jumped 2 people, Kierwinek and Big Wilk, and he's up to P4. Clank doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, he's
considering
into
his
some fresh air now.
qualification.
Let's see how we can get on now, see if we can chase down Ultimate Kaze and WMDR Martin ahead if they start battling. It's quite a big gap now, maybe about 9 seconds he's got to gain on the pair. But he can definitely do that as Martin is looking down the inside of turn
for
one.
P2, Martin's looking up the inside.
Side by side as they
can he
come
hold
out.
around the inside of turn 2? Martin makes another move, and he's absolutely flying tonight. Up to P2, fantastic. Next in the crosshairs will be Valside, but there's a big old 4-second gap. But it's a long race yet. There's still 31 laps remaining. Yeah,
it only took a couple of laps for Martin to chase down Kaze when there was a 3-second gap. So we'll see what he can do on Valeside. Valeside with a 2:08 last lap. I believe that's going to include the time penalty that he's accrued, which is a 3-second penalty for Valeside already on lap 5. Which
is not ideal.
which
Not
in
ideal
theory
if you're
brings that
getting
gap down to
penalties this early in the
1.5
race.
seconds. Ultimate Cars, is he looking
we'll
for an
have a look
answer?
back
No, he doesn't
at,
have an answer here. He's just going to tuck it back in. Again, some brake smoke there. Rest of the field starting to string out as well, with Clank pulling himself into a bit of a open air in P4. Big Wilk behind as well, pulling away from, not sure who LOR is, but Big Wilk is pulling away from P6 there as well in the background.
Yeah, LOR would be Lord, I don't know. But again, the guy, Kieran, who qualified in P3, now sitting in P9. I just can't help but think he's got damage or something, because that guy, I do know that he is pretty quick, and I'm really shocked to see him drop down to the field if this is raw pace.
Yeah, we have to remember this as well.
Again, Ticklish having a look up the inside. Ticklish is all over him.
Yeah, Krovnik's got no answer to that as Ticklish makes the move onto the inside there. He tried to defend, but it's almost too late for Krovnik to be defending there. And Ticklish makes his way through and drops Krovnik down to P10. But again, this is pre-season. We're not sure how much driving these guys have done in preparation for this, how much testing they've done. It might be Krovnik's first time on a full fuel tank and just taking it steady, which is costing him these positions, but that's what we do pre-season for. He can get this practice in, get this testing in, and adjust for round 1 at Watkins Glen next week. I think what could be interesting to see as well is the fuel amounts. Obviously being on default setups, I guess the game has given the Ford 75 litres, but it looked like the Porsche of Krovnik was on 35 litres. So that could affect pit stops and pit times with those fuel amounts.
Well, we will just have a look at that there. Yeah, so the Ford's on 74.8. We'll jump back to Krovnik, who is on 33. That can't be right.
Yeah.
If that is right.
What is the Porsche behind Krovnik there of Exus? Is he on a similar amount of fuel? He is. They both seem to be on the same.
He's on 33.1.
Ticklish looked on the inside there of Crab, but Crab was way too far ahead to get the move done there. So yeah, these Porsches running lighter on fuel, and the Ferrari as well by the looks of it, also on 31 litres. So strategies are gonna almost be forced to be split by these cars. And we have missed this as well. Martin is actually back down to 3rd, so Ultimate Cars has made his way back into 2nd. They're both now 6 seconds down on Valeside, our current leader.
Yeah. I'm not sure what happened, Martin, but his last lap was a 2:07.5. Not fantastic to see.
Yeah, seems like some sort of error there for that to happen. No time penalties, so that was just in Martin's own mistakes, I presume.
But we can see 3 people currently having time penalties. Our race leader, Clank, in P4, and Crab in P8, who's at a pretty good recovery drive considering that he started P13.
Yeah, for sure.
So far.
Making his way up the field, back to where he probably should have qualified if he didn't get the disqualification for pit lane violations. But he's doing a good job here defending from Ticklish Picklewickle. It's been there for a few laps now. Ticklish is on his tail, but not been able to make a way through yet.
Yeah, that BMW seems pretty fast in Ticklish's hands, and we know that Ticklish isn't the slowest in the world. In the Formula C League that we did a couple of weeks back, it seemed every race he was in incidents, but they never seemed to really be at his fault, and it wasn't until the final race of the season that we could see his true pace, and that's when he led the race for a good chunk of the race until some of the so-called aliens caught up and overtook him. But he got a great result out of the final race and really proved himself. And currently sitting P9, hunting down Crab. And let's not forget that Crab was one of the so-called aliens at times in the previous season.
Yeah, for sure. We'll keep an eye on him as I said before, he's doing a good job of keeping Ticklish behind Lord I don't know, just 2.5 seconds ahead as we go now to WMDR Martin as he goes to turn 1. And Ultimate Kaze spun out, which gives the position to Martin down the inside, and he's going to have a bit of a gap now and a bit of breathing room away from Ultimate Kaze. So an error there by Kaze coming out the corner to allow Martin back through.
Straight through, and a lot of time penalties coming through now. We've got Big Wilk in P5 who's got a time penalty, Kierwinek and Crab also picking up more time penalties. Yeah, Kieranek's dropped down to P11 now, with Nilla only less than half a second behind in the Aston as they come into the tight section inspired by Magus and Beckett's. And you can see damage on the back of that of Kieranek's car, of the Porsche. So he's definitely been in the wars so far in the first 8 laps.
Yeah, let's see if he comes in to repair that during his pit stop. But it could be the reason why he's dropping back so much, losing a bit of downforce on the rear end.
And we're going to have to jump to Lord I don't know, and sorry. Gwegwin and Big Wilk now getting pretty close together.
Yeah, Gwegwin just right on the bumper there, Big Wilk. It's good to see Gwegwin up here. I don't remember if they took part in the Formula C. I don't believe they did, but battling with our P2 finisher of the Formula C Championship, Big Wilk. It's great to see Gwegwin up there fighting.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see that they're not just using us to get more testing, get more seat time, and they're actually using us to see what their opponents for the league are going to be able to do when it comes to battling, you know, defending, and see how aggressive they are. But this is shaping up to be a fantastic battle with these three. We've got Gwegwin, Big Wilk, Gwegwin, and Lord I don't know all battling, and we've got Gwegwin taking P5, but he always loses the back end coming around turn 1, and Big Wilk takes the position back, and now Lord I don't know is up the inside. It's almost rubbing door to door. Gwegwin's almost pushed off. There's contact. The Ford's gone sideways. Gwegwin managed to save it, but Lord I don't know is off in the distance now. In the background, Gwegwin, I'm not sure who is at fault there, but I'm pretty sure that will go to the stewards if this happens during the season. But in that mayhem, we got Crab picking up more positions, jumps up to P7 now, and it was good to see some battling door to door, but it was a bit too aggressive.
Yeah, it looked like it could have been a bit of netcode. I believe Lord I don't know is out in the States, and Gwegwin is this side of the pond, so I think there may have been a bit of netcode involved in that incident, but we'll have to see how it goes after, if it goes to the stewards or not. But unfortunate there for Lord I don't know. I'm sure he's going to look to recover. Didn't look like he took too much damage, just got spun out for the contact, so should be able to keep going. Just his tyres may be a bit flat spotted from going straight across the track there.
Yeah, well, straight away he's back onto the back bumper of Big Wilk, who's in P5. Clank, who's pulled a decent gap in P4, seems to be pretty safe, pumping in constant 204s. Can't seem to really match the leaders, but again, the leader has got another time penalty on that lap. But
yeah, it could come down to that. If we have a quick look at time penalties now, we can see if how many Veilsides managed to pick up. There's 5 seconds there, which is just about the gap to WMDR Martin. So that could be interesting to see towards the end of the race. Clank with 2 seconds, Big Wilk with 1 second there.
Yeah, and we can see Ticklish down in P13. must have had a slight error or something, because he's dropped down. He was in P11, I believe, trying to battle Kieran, and now he's down to 13th. And I'm pretty sure it was the pace he had. Yeah, his last lap was a 2:19.8. I think he must have had a spin or something, because Ticklish, he definitely shouldn't be setting lap times of that speed.
Yeah, that's for sure. Doesn't look
But
like any
now
damage that BMW though, so keep on trucking as we're 10 laps into this 36 lap race here at Circuit of the Americas. Current leader is Valeside, who's a newcomer to the PC side of Project Cars 2. WNDR Martin, our virtual leader, as Asturbo's put it in chat, just 5 seconds behind him. Ultimate Cars A is another 5 seconds behind in P3. Clank is another 5 seconds behind him, pretty much, in P4. And Big Wilk, another few seconds behind, although Clank seems to have dropped quite a bit of time behind Ultimate Cars A now.
Yeah, their last laps were pretty almost identical, Ultimate Kaze and Clank. But we'll see how they get on. And there's contact. The Aston spins on his own, and Darefowl can't get out of the way in time. And Ticklish Picklewickle jumps the two of them in the contact. Yeah, Nilla lost it coming around the last corner, or not the last corner, sorry, but after the big straight. And yeah, that's very unfortunate for Darefowl, and but very fortunate for Ticklish.
Yeah,
we can also see,
and now
yeah, and Lord, I don't know, after his contact and spin with Gwegwin, has I think he's got a lot of damage or something, because even Kuranik has been able to catch up and pass him. Kuranik now back up to P9.
Yeah, Kuranik making a slow recovery there, as you see Darefowl and Neela choosing to take their pit stops. I assume there was damage involved in that contact. So they're taking their stop now, topping up on fuel, should take them to the end at this point.
Yeah, Keyboard Blondie in P18 having a pretty lonely race. He just doesn't seem to have the pace tonight. It's just really surprising, I have to say, because this guy, from what I've seen of him, he is pretty quick. I think he just needs a bit more seat time in that Ferrari to get it up to speed. When you can see the other guys sitting P2, and he was able to get the Ferrari around at that speed, there's no reason why Keyboard can't either.
Yeah, for those who have just joined recently, these are fixed setup cars, so there's either the stable or loose setups to choose from. They can't do any changes to those, so it is mostly down to driver skill and a little bit of car selection, but at the same time it's the same for everyone else in the same cars. It's either loose or stable, and that's the only choice you have. We have realistic driving aids on, so you can have traction control, but there's no ABS or stability control available to these drivers today. Seems the field is starting to spread out a little bit, no real action going on. See Crab made his way to P7, trying to chase down Gwegwin next. Got within a second so far of this lap. So
yeah, I do believe that Gwegwin, I do believe his last lap was a 2:11, so I do believe he made a mistake, because he didn't get a time penalty, so he must have made a mistake, and now Crab is right on him, trying to capitalise.
So with a pit stop required in this race, tyres? Do you take tyres? Do you think these drivers are going to be taking tyres, or so they don't have to? They have to take fuel because I see someone spinning off then. I think there was a couple of places down now of pole.
There was Paul. Yeah, there was Paul in the Ferrari, one of the Bermuda boys, struggling through the fast section in the first sector.
Yeah, he's got it going again now. It's down in 15th place here. We'll be looking for better results, but I'm not seeing the Vidora guys around, which is obviously Paul and Needlelap. I'm not sure if anyone else from Vidora have joined them for this league.
I do believe Needlelap as well has joined, sitting in P12, having a great race and trying to hunt down Ticklish.
I remember Needlelap having some great pace back in the GT3 days of Project Cars 2. Probably similar sort of pace to Ticklish. I know they're in separate tiers, but Ticklish was always on the top end of tier 2, and Needlelap was middle to back of tier 1, so these guys should be pretty similarly matched. Be good to see if Needlelap can close that gap down and have a good battle with Ticklish.
Yeah, I remember battling Needlelap in the GT3 League, and he's definitely was one of the main reasons I turned up to race every week. It was very, very fun to race this guy. We were very, very similar on pace, and honestly, if it wasn't for him and a few others, I think I would have been left for dust.
It's alright, I was always at the back to pick up the wooden spoon, so you had nothing to worry about. As Paul has decided to come into the pits, whether he took damage or wants fresh tyres after that incident through this fast first sector. Can't really tell if they're taking tyres. There's no real graphic or anything to say what they're doing in those pit stops. But going back to that topic, I've not really driven GTE too much. I'm not sure how bad tyre wear is. Will they last 70 minutes, or will people want to be taking these fresh tyres?
Well, with my small amount of experience that I've had in the with the endurance races that I've done with these cars, your strategy can vary a lot, obviously. But I think, like, if you drive carefully enough, you can make the softs work. But if you just want to go hell for leather, which a lot of these guys do, you just want to stick on the hard and just try and be as consistent as possible. But I don't think it's worth taking tires in a 70-minute race. I don't think, especially with hard, if you're starting on hards, or if you're even thinking about doing hards, I don't think it's really an option. As Guegwin on the second to last corner spins, and will he jump into the pits? No, he just comes off the throttle and lets X's through just for a safe enough rejoin. And Guegwin now dropping down to P8, but Lord I don't know is in the pits, hopefully to fix that damage and trying to set those lap times on fire again that he was doing earlier on in the race.
Not sure if we missed the pit stop, but WMDR Martin is leading this race at 5 seconds ahead of Valeside. That seems too close to be a pit stop for Valeside, unless they both.
Yeah, 100%.
I haven't seen either of them pit yet, so that seems to be on track. We'll see at the end of this lap whether Valeside has a lot longer lap time, but that's something completely missed until just now. It's almost as if they've completely just swapped positions, because it's literally a 6-second gap that Valeside has dropped to WMDR Martin now. Yeah, he's 10 seconds down on his delta, so that must have been an incident there from Valeside to push him down the order. So we may have a race on our hands now.
Well, definitely all Martin needs to do now is to stay in front and not get any time penalties, and he will absolutely run away with this race, because Valeside has, as we know, at least 5 seconds of penalties. Well, 6 seconds now. A lot of the grid now is getting time penalties. We've got Clank on 4, Big Wilk on 1, Crab on 5, and Kieran on 4. But we'll see now how much he's lost as he comes across the line now, the run up to the line. Let's see how much our previous race leader has lost in this one lap. At 2:13.666. the mark of the devil was on him on that lap, and it did not shine on him too well. He's absolutely lost a hell of a amount of time. That's a full 10 seconds in one lap. He must have spun, and had an absolute mare trying to get back going again.
Yeah, we'll have to see now if that changes any of their strategies. I guess Martin can't really afford to take tyres because if Ailside decides not to. I can't remember how long a pit stop is for tyres in the GTE class, or whether you can do it simultaneously with fuel. I know Project Cars, different car classes, you can do different things. Some of them you have to do fuel and tyres separate, some of them you can do at the same time.
Well, there we go. Gwegwin, Crab and Kierwinik in the pits currently. They seem to be just fueling. I don't see tyres going on. Not in the graphics anyways, but Clank now, right on Ultra Kazi for P3. What can Clank do? Ultra Kazi weaving down the streets, being super defensive, but Clank is right on him. Can Clank stay in the slipstream for long enough? Was the straight long enough to encourage Clank to make a move, or will Clank stay behind? Clank's gonna have a dive down the inside. Ultra Kazi leaves space. Clank makes the move up to P3. Fantastic stuff.
Brilliant move there by Clank. Got
Clank.
The slipstream all the way down that straight and managed to send it down the inside to take that position from Ultimate Kaze. See now, obviously Clank with that 4-second penalty. Can he pull that gap away? I believe both of these guys still need to pit as well. So great move there by Clank. Kaze tried his best to break any form of slipstream, but Clank wasn't having any of it.
Yeah, equal machinery, so the slipstream is that little bit more important. And straight away Ultra Kazi jumps into the pits, and Clank now, with no pressure behind and a clear track in front, should be willing to just run down the 6 litres of fuel that he has in the tank to try and set a decent couple of laps, and to try and like overcut Ultra Kazi, and or maybe Ultra Kazi now, hopefully if he takes tyres we'll be able to undercut Clank and retake P3. It's all drama, it's all kicking off.
Yeah, I'll see the Corvettes are being nearly forced to pit at this point with their fuel levels. I believe for the other cars, BMW's got 10 litres left in them. I'm not sure what the Ferraris or the Porsches have got so far. I guess the Porsches may have already pitted.
I'm not sure if Ticklish has pitted yet or not, but if he hasn't, he is in the box seat for a fantastic result. But no, he can't because he's got 9 litres. I'm just realising that now. Sorry about that.
There's not a chance Ticklish has pitted yet, unless he forgot to tick the fuel box. But yeah, he's still doing a great job being up in 6th. Ultimate Kaze comes out in 10th after his pit stop.
He's absolutely hounding the back of this Porsche of Exus as he come down towards the hairpin. Will Ticklish have a look, or will he just try and perfect the exit of the corner and drag him up to the hairpin at the end of the straight? He seems to have a decent exit. The BMW does have some a decent straight line speed. But is it a match for the Porsche?
Gap seems a lot bigger than Clank's was when he made his move on Ultimate Kaze, but we'll see now. Ticklish taking the outside line.
But you can see the Ticklish had to pull out of that area. He felt that he was later on the brakes, but he knew if he didn't pull out of it, he was going to have a crash. It was better to pull out of it. And here is our race leader in the pits, WMDR Martin, as Veilside decides to stay out.
Yeah, Veilside with still 44 litres in the tank. I still don't believe he would have pitted though. It didn't seem like he was that far ahead to be able to make a pit stop and come out that close to WMDR Martin. So just, the Ford's just having so much more fuel at the start of a race.
Our net 3 position holder, Clank, has got only 3 litres left. So he should be coming in this lap. This should be his in lap. So this is where we see if the overcut has worked on Ultimate Kaze, who is currently down at P10. So the
Yeah, that's from his pit stop.
comes across
so,
the line. Yeah. Let's see what times he's going to do on his last lap. A 2:14. That's not a very quick lap.
And that's Big Will coming out the pits just behind him. So Big Will having a
Yeah.
great pit stop there. Maybe Kaze took tyres, Big Will didn't, and that's closed that gap right down. But still got Clank and Valeside to pit. Let's see if where they're going to come out in comparison. Should be around that
We'll
sort of
keep an
area.
We'll keep an eye on Clank because we know Valeside's got enough fuel to last him for a good long time yet. So we'll have to keep an eye on that battle whenever Valeside pits to see who will be the victor of the pit war. And I can see headlights coming on in cars now. The sun is setting.
Yeah, this race is a 70-minute long race, but it's 36 laps, equivalent of 70 minutes, and we're at 10 times time progression, so we will see it transition towards night time as Clank coming into the pits with 1 litre of fuel left, time to perfection. That's that car under the speed limit, right on time there.
We'll keep an eye on Clank to see how long this is going to be. Again, the graphic doesn't really show that he's taking tyres. I do believe it's just going to be fuel.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you see about tyres, whether it's the pit crew actually is animated to do tyres or how we see it from a spectator's view. So far it does seem to be just fuel going in, 51 litres.
Does seem to be a pretty decent stop. And he is behind Ticklish Crumb.
Important part is whether he's in front of Ultimate Kaze. And it looks like
he is by a massive way. Ultimate Kaze, he's only crossing the line there now in the braking zone for turn 1. So yeah, Ultimate Kaze must have either been caught up in traffic or had a terrible outlap. And Clank has been able to stay in front and is currently net P3 because Ticklish, Crumb and Needlelap has all got the pit.
Yeah, also got the important pit stops of Valeside to come. Martin had pit, didn't he? We saw Martin pit.
Yeah, Martin spitted, but his last lap was a 2:11, which is a bit concerning because his pit stop was about 3 laps ago, so it wasn't anything to do with his pit stop. So he must have had a moment or a back marker or something. So it's all up in the air again. As Valeside is currently in the pits. This is what we've been waiting for. Can the leader Valeside retake the lead, come back out in front of Martin, or will Martin jump him and retake the position?
That was a very quick pit stop.
That was an incredibly fast pit stop.
I guess he
as
doesn't need
Martin
too much
is
fuel.
only coming around the second last corner now.
Although I don't know if Valeside has enough fuel to get to the end with that stop. It's only on 39.2 litres, and he's just about halfway through the race. So that's on 40 litres now. We'll have to see how that plays out. So maybe he did put enough in with that jumping up to 39. But he is in the lead and he has a 6-second advantage. WNDR Martin was 5 seconds ahead coming into his pit stop, so he's lost out on 10 seconds there to Valeside.
Yeah, we'll try and jump on board with the another Ford that's done a pit stop. I think Big Wilk has won, and he's got 51 litres. So this could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, to keep an eye on that. Obviously Big Wilk putting Ultimate Kaze under some pressure, still trailing him since they came out together from Big Wilk's pit stop. Having a look down the inside into turn 1 again. Off from that angle to see what's going on, but it looks like Big Wilk has made that stick with a great overtake into turn 1. So pushing his car straight in front of Ultimate Kaze then for turn 2 to make sure there's no answer to it at all, and Big Wilk's got the move done and going to be looking to chase down Clank now. Is only 5 seconds up the road, I believe. And it's 36 seconds up the road. I thought that was just cumulative deltas. It is a cumulative delta. It is 5 seconds.
It
I
is
apologise.
cumulative. Yeah. He's only 5 seconds up the road.
I got really confused by Ticklish's 2:49 in the middle of it there. So I guess that's just a bug in the timings. There we go. It's fixed itself now to 1:02.
Yeah, so even with the pit stops, we're seeing a lot of action here tonight. That it's just like watching good old Formula 1 back when pit stops seems to matter more when they had to refuel. It really did matter.
Yeah, I wonder if some of these cars have an advantage of only needing to put in literally a litre of fuel, or whether like WM Martin may have to put more fuel in, which cost him that 10 seconds, or whether tyres was the choice. So we'll have to ask some of the drivers after the race what they did differently, get an idea of the season, how it's going to go with pit stops.
Yeah, and this is the battle for 15th. So they got Dairfile and Nilla in the Aston, who's P15. It's pretty close here. As Nilla goes slightly wide, Dairfile has definitely got a better car on the brakes. As Nilla misses the apex, Dairfile will get a better exit now, and he's getting a hell of a lot closer on this drag strip down to the hairpin.
Yeah, again with that BMW power, it looks like he's already looking to the inside, and now we're looking into the sky. Is that an unfortunate disconnect there? Have we lost JFR? It looks like we have. We're down to 15 drivers, 14 drivers.
Oh, we're losing a whole lot of drivers.
13.
We're down to 13. We're getting a mass disconnection.
Huge disconnection issue there. Fortunate to see we're having some great driving then. Who's left in? We've still got Clank, Big Wheel, Cosmo Kaze, Valeside, WM Martin. So our top 5 are still, or provisional top 5, still there. Unfortunately, we have lost a fair few of the field then. I believe we started on 19, 20 drivers?
I believe it was 20, I think. 20, 21 maybe? But yeah, almost half the field's just been... I think Thanos is in the room. He just clicked his fingers and yeah, more people are dropping out. We're down to 12 now. This is a really unfortunate. This race is hopping up to be quite a decent finish with 16 laps to go, but that's really unfortunate. But we'll jump back to WMDO Martin, who crosses the line now to do a 2-minute 4.7, which is half a second slower than Valside that last lap. But it's all to play for still. If as long as the Project Car 2 gods lets us stay on the server for another 15 laps, we will see either Valside or WMDO Martin take the win here, unless something very unusual happens. But also noted is Needlap and the other Ford sitting P3, and he has 35 litres of fuel, and that's a very similar amount to our current race leader, 32.8 litres of fuel.
Yeah, and I believe that Needlap still needs to make a pit stop, and from what I was understanding from Ticklish, and they were saying that they basically made it a 70-minute race, so everyone would have to pit for fuel. So don't know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see if Valeside can make it on the 32.2 litres. May have forgotten to set up the pit strategy correctly to add fuel. We'll have to wait and see at the end.
Yes, that'd be a hell of a way to end pre-season testing, considering that you were so dominant in this race, and then to have the win, even though it doesn't count for anything towards the championship, to have it taken away from you just as you basically coast around and run out of fuel, and have the entire field that you were pretty much dominating for the whole race pass you by. But
yeah, it's better to happen here than in the season. That's the main part. At least
yeah, definitely. It's better to learn now than when there's points at stake.
Yeah, it's not a mistake you make twice. At least you attempt not to make that mistake twice.
And just as we jump to Gwegwin and Ticklish, we see Ticklish jump up to P9 as he overtakes Gwegwin. As Gwegwin doesn't want to have any of it, he jives back up the inside of Ticklish Picklewickle. But his exit will be compromised now. Ticklish will be... Sorry, not Ticklish. Yeah, that's Ticklish. Will be right on the back bumper now. Although it does seem a lot bigger in that view than from the helicam.
Yeah, we've seen that gap being closed down before by the end of the straight from that camera, so we'll see if Ticklish looks towards the inside, thinks against it, stays on the racing line there. Oh, had a bit of a wobble, had to hold up on the brakes then to not go into the back of Gwegwin. But yeah, Gwegwin getting that position back, very ballsy move to get it done on the hairpin before the straight, compromising his own line, but still managed to make it work.
Yeah, he definitely didn't want to give up his top 10. Well, he still would have been in top 10, but he definitely wants to show Ticklish for the championship that he's here to race, and he will happily get his elbows out. But yeah, this is it seems to be everybody now is just lapping. There's not many cars close together on track. Yes, I do believe Ticklish just had a moment and has lost a lot of time to Gwegwin from that battling. His last lap was a 2:12, whereas Gwegwin's was a 2:04. But in fact, Gwegwin's last lap was faster than the leaders.
Yeah, Gwegwin on a mission there, 2:04.5. Got Clank putting in 2:05s in the top two, also on 2:04s.
Yeah, and this is the man that I don't actually know much about. Deep A Graja. I'm not even going to pronounce that again. I'm going to struggle so much this season with that guy's name.
Deepak Raj.
But yeah, you see, but that person is doing a fantastic job sitting P7. And pretty sure he's going to be going to the end because he's got 31 leaders left, and yeah, if he can manage top 10s every race in the league, I think he'd be doing quite well. As he's lost it into the wall just as I commented across them.
Yeah, that's lost the front light there, at least on my view, so he may have to pit for that. I'm not sure what the rules
he's
are
got
with
no lights for me either.
Lights being out, so he may have to pit to fix that. Maybe they'll let him get away with it in pre-season, but no, he's coming into the pits now to get that damage fixed. But unfortunate there, got into the barrier. Apparently coming from the ACC community, has done a few endurance races in ACC. So they're just trying, it's their first Project Cars 2 League, just seeing how they get on. But there we go, damage fix there, lights straight back on, fuel going on in the car.
Yes. Good to see people coming from all over, all wakes of life. It's good to see that the AOR is bringing people together. That's what we like to see. But jumping back now to P4 as Clank goes a bit deep, has a bit of a spin. Half spin, able to control the spin. And just having a bit of a show off now for the cameras.
I'm sure that's what it was. You got Big Wilk is actually starting to gain on him. There's a second lap faster, Big Wilk behind him. That gap's now down to less than 3 seconds.
Yep, Big Wilk and the big Ford is going to come, but I'm pretty sure Clank will, as always, do his best to defend the position. But I'm still wondering, maybe we missed Needle Lap pit early, and now he's just run really long and had a really clean race.
Could possibly be. In my mind, it was Clank was in P3 the whole time. I didn't see Needle Up at any point pull themselves up. Unfortunately, there's no metric. If
Needle Up had pitted early, then he would have got the undercut on everyone. If he had pitted early, it would have been a clean air, and then he would have jumped everyone. Because his lap times aren't that slow now. If you look at them, there's a 206, whereas Clank just puts in a 209, but that was with the spin. But before that was a 207. Big Wilk's 206 as well. The only people that are faster currently on track than Needle Lap is the P1 and P2 of Velside and WMDR Martin. So I'm not really sure what to think. Does Needle Lap still need to pit, or can he hang it out to the end and claim the undercut on everyone and be the absolute master strategy for the race?
We'll have to wait and see. I'm just going to read the rules and see what the rules are on the pit stops.
I'm glad you're doing it, because you know I don't do it.
Yes. There are mandatory pit stops, so it's... My one thought was whether he's trying to make the fuel tank last to the end of the 70 minutes, but you have to take a pit stop in this league, so yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that.
And we're going to jump back to Big Wilk, as he is within 1 second of Clank now at this stage. They're on the back straight. The Ford has caught up to him within the 2 laps that we were suggesting.
Yeah, he's got to make that Corvette wide, but he doesn't. He opens the inside.
There's a bit of rubbing. There's a bit of rubbing, and Clank doesn't have an answer for Big Wilk. Big Wilk straight through. That's very surprising to see that Clank doesn't have much of an answer for defending. Normally, Clank does at least put up a bit of a fight. But
yeah, like
Big Wilk
threw
threw
up
up
and didn't expect Big Wilk to be there on his inside when Clank pulled in. Obviously, this game has a little identifier to say, like an arrow pointing to where a car is alongside you, but Clank's been spending a lot of time on ACC recently. Maybe got a bit blessed by the radar and missed it in this game, and ended up just turning into Big Wilk.
You say blessed, I say spoiled. That radar has saved me from so many crashes on ACC. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a very good feature, but in this we have little red arrows to point in a direction. Maybe he just missed it and turned into Big Wilk, but at the end of the day, Big Wilk has pulled a gap already to Clank, nearly 2 seconds there. So Big Wilk on an absolute mission at the moment.
Yeah, Lord, I don't know, after his collision with the Guegwin, seems to have recovered, and after the shakeout of the pits, has come out in front of Guegwin, which is, I'm sure he'll love that there, because he lost a hell of a amount of time in that collision and resulted of the spin. But yeah, dropped down, well down the grid, then had to pit, and it seems after everything, he's back up to P7. And doing his best to hold position, but we can see that Guegwin is a full 2 seconds of a lap faster than him on the last lap. So Guegwin is about 10 seconds behind, so if we give him about 6 laps, we could see a battle towards the end.
Yeah, and I'm just obviously with that disconnection that happened, don't believe we lost half of the field. I believe in a league race, the race would have actually been restarted. Actually no, more than 50% of the race was completed, wasn't it? So if more than 50% of the race was completed at the time of the disconnect, the results will stand and half points are awarded. So we do have some fail safes in the rules for a mass disconnection.
Yeah, if only AOR was in charge of the Formula 1, they would have more decent racing to see than what we had at Bathurst last weekend. Or not Bathurst, if only Formula 1 went to Bathurst, I mean Spa, sorry.
Yeah, that would be quite incredible. Just want to see Formula 1 around Bathurst now. I've seen Jenson Button's lap, but
yeah.
I want to see a race around Bathurst in Formula 1 now.
He proved it that Formula 1 cars can drive around Bathurst, so let's go there, boys. Come on. We all know Melbourne's pretty boring, so let's shake it up. Let's go over the mountain.
Nobody overtakes in these cars anyway without DRS, so you got at least 2 DRS zones in Bathurst. Going up to the mountain, coming down out the mountain.
That would be a sight to see, to be fair.
Yeah, back to the race at hand. Lord, I don't know. So sitting in 7th. Deepak Raj. Yes, good outing for him. He's in P11 at the moment, but when it was a full field, he was running pretty well. Had a bit of an incident causing him to take a pit stop, but seems to be settling in quite well. As Valeside is now taking a pit stop. What have we missed for Valeside?
Oh, he's had a moment and he's lost his lights.
I can still see full lights, but I'll believe you on your screen if he's lost his lights.
Yeah, they just came back on.
Yeah.
They just come back on now once he came into the pits. As Martin retakes the lead. This has been seesawing between these two guys all race. Valeside got pole, ran away with it at the beginning. Martin's caught up, and then I think Valeside made a mistake. Martin passed him on track, and then through the pit stops, Valeside retake the lead, and now Martin's back out in front after Valeside has another mistake and drops down to P2.
Yeah, it looked like he topped up a bit of fuel there as well, about 5 litres, whether that's needed for these final 9 laps or not. We'll see.
Well, if he's on 32, we'll have a look at Needle Lap, and he's on 19. So I don't think that's possible to do 9 laps on 19 litres of fuel. I just don't think that's possible, because when Crab was pitting, I know it's a different car, but when Clank was pitting, he had 3 litres left, and he did 1 lap. And then it took 2.1 litres when he was coming into the pits. So he only had 0.9 of a litre left in the tank. But unless the Fords are incredibly easy on fuel, I think Needle Lap will have to pit. But even still, it would have been a fantastic outing. Really showing that he's got the pace to stay up there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long a pit stop is, but even if it's a 30-second stop, he's still going to come out in E7 or so. So it's still not bad for Needle Lap there to get a decent finish, even if it's still not a pit stop.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just have a look at the timings now, because Martin does seem to have picked up a penalty of 5 seconds, so the race is really on, even though there's a 21-second gap. Valeside and Martin. The Valeside will be absolutely distraught with himself, seeing that he had to take 2 pit stops to ensure that he had enough to get to the end. But it's better to learn it now, as we were saying earlier. Better to learn it now than in the league races where it actually matters. Yeah, this is the whole point of testing.
See him come over the line. He's at 29.7. Definitely going to write this down and remember it for the end of the race. We'll see if we can see what he's on at the end of this lap, to see about his fuel usage. As we see Needle Lap now finally taking that pit stop we've been waiting for on lap 27 out of 36 that he is on.
It's interesting to see that the top 4 have all got time penalties and everybody else is clean as a whistle.
I think that just shows how much on the limit the top 4 are pushing it. If you're not going to get 1 or 2 penalties in a race, you're not going even close enough to the track limits. So I think that's just almost a compliment to them, to how hard those 4 are pushing.
Yeah, I know Clank got overtaken for P3 a few laps ago, but you can already see the gap that Big Wilk has over him. It's a full 10 seconds, and a matter of I think it was like 4 or 5 laps. So the Clank, either he's carrying damage or he just seems to be struggling in the colder phase. As you can tell, the car doesn't want to turn in.
Yes.
Definitely
same place as the last time we saw him on the hairpin, as Ultimate Cars seems to be closing the gap now. About 9/10 quicker than Clank in that previous lap. Could be a battle for the finish there if Clank continues to struggle on these tyres.
Yeah, and Valeside is just on a lap of 2 minutes 12, so that must be another time penalty. No? That was a legitimate 2 minute 12 for Valeside in P2, because Big Wilk has caught up and is only 12 seconds behind. So Felside has another incident. He needs to be super careful because he could even lose P2 here to Big Wilk.
Good indeed, but again, it's
Yeah.
pre-season, so people may have just been testing things out for this race. It might be the first time they've done a full 70-minute stint. So people are starting to realise, oh, maybe I should have looked after my tyres more, maybe I should have taken tyres in the pit stop. Obviously fuel levels, Failside may have learnt from this race as he's on 26.5 now. So maybe about 3 litres per lap or so, it looks like, for the Ford at least.
Yeah, but going back to what you're saying about choosing tyres and stuff, I mean that's going to differ from track to track as well. So I mean, I think if you want to do well in this year league, you're going to have to put in your own practice time and test these things out. To see what tyres suit you best for each track, and to see if you can make them last or not.
Yeah, well, with the default setups, I don't believe they get to choose their tyre types, do they? They're stuck with whatever the game gives them with the default setup, but they should, if they take a pit stop, they can then choose what tyres they take through the pit stop.
Yeah.
So it's whether it's worth them just staying on the tyres that the game gives them from the start, or do they pit to get some fresh tyres halfway through the race, whether they last at 70 minutes or not.
Well, Needlelap has come out of the pits. Back to the action, Needlelap has come out of the pits, but Wegman has gone up the inside. And Needlelap didn't seem to have an answer, he went quite wide. I think a lot of these guys are starting to struggle now with the colder temperatures, seeing as we're at night time, and the tyres just doesn't seem to have the grip that everyone had the pleasure of having earlier in the race. But yeah, a lot of guys struggling. Clank being one of them, and it seems Needlelap is one of them now as well.
Yeah, obviously some of these cars didn't have a choice really of when they pitted, when they were given such small fuel loads, so maybe when they pitted, if they did take tyres at all, it was a wrong choice of pressures or so, or maybe when the game started the pressures were all wrong, we were given it night time. It's hard to really tell what's going on with these guys. We'll have to try and get some feedback from them after the race.
Yeah, but jumping back to the leader, WMDR Martin, his last lap again was not a great lap, was a 209.8, so he seems to be struggling with the grip levels as well. But unless he got a time penalty, he's up to 8 seconds now. Yeah, he got a time penalty that last lap.
Yeah, it would have been 3 seconds there, which is about right. It brings his time down to a 206.8 for the last lap, which is par for the course, it seems.
But
does have quite a commanding lead over Veilside at the moment though, 25 seconds. Due to Veilside taking that extra pit stop to repair his damage and take on some more fuel.
Yeah, it seems to be hotting up between these two. I definitely can see these two battling it out for the season, and especially with this Big Wilk in P3, he's definitely been one to watch as well for the season. And I'm not going to take it away from Clank either. Actually, the top 5 has been pretty good tonight, in fairness. Hard to pick a championship favourite.
Yeah, I think the main difference in the top 5 was just down to the fuel strategy, or the pit strategies I should say. It seemed that Ultimate Cars at the very start managed to get away and pull away with Veilside. The 2 broke away from the front. There's a bit of battling going on further back and shuffling of the orders, but with the information they've gathered today through pit strategies and everything else going on, I think it could be a lot closer racing coming up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Now we've got 6 laps remaining, and we've got Wegwin with a 9-second gap to the guy in front of Lord I don't know, who is now up to P6, and Gwegwin hunted him down in P7. these two may have a slight bit of a grudge against each other after the incident early in the race that we've seen, but might be interesting to see going towards the season. But hopefully there's no handbags at dawn. Hopefully it's all sorted out before the season starts.
Yeah, it didn't look like it's intentional at all. It's just a bit of a door-to-door action, and a sprinkle of netcode on top helped exaggerate the issue. But yeah, 5 laps left to go at this race. Some great driving going on. Unfortunately, for those who just joined that missed it, we have lost 8 or 9 drivers to, let's just say, Project Cars 2 things. A mass disconnect took 8 or 9 drivers out of the race, so we're seeing a lot more spread out field than what we should be having right now.
I have to say, pretty impressed with the Bermuda boys. I spent a lot of time racing these guys, and I'm you did as well, Kiki, in the GT3 League, and I'm pretty impressed with their pace, P8 and P12. I know there was a bit of a mass disconnect, but the two guys were doing pretty well before that as well.
Yeah, I think, I'm not sure many of the top guys are really disconnected. Our top 5 at least are all still here. I think Needlelap, even if everyone was still here, would still be top 10 at the very least. Yeah, great result by him.
But yeah, our leader's lap time seems to be fluctuating quite a lot. Because his last lap was a 2:05.1, but the lap before that was like a really quick one. It was a 2:03.2, I believe. It was so it's just, they're fluctuating by almost 2 seconds every lap. Yeah, you can tell that he's down by 2.5 on this lap as well. As he comes through the final sector.
The long sweeping right-hander here can't be good for the tyres all race. The left-hand side getting eaten alive through this long right-hander every single lap.
Yeah, it's corners that got there is where you would need the hard tyres on, but is it worth? Because you do have the big straight to let the soft tyres kind of relax a bit. So it's kind of hard to judge if you want to be on the hard or soft in this race. But I mean, it's hard to know. We won't know what tyres these guys were on until we get them in the interview box after. But yeah, 3 laps remaining now. This is lap 33. We've got 36 total, and we've got another disconnect. And it was Clank.
That's unfortunate.
Our P4. The fellow Celtic Bromance driver, who was P4, having a great race. He was struggling a little bit on pace, but I do believe it was tyres. But yeah, it's dropped, had a disconnect, so we're down to 11 now. But again, Big Wilk has got the gap down to Valside, down to 8 seconds. I know that it's going to be incredibly hard to catch him, but Big Wilk is putting on pretty good times compared to Valside. He's almost 1.5 seconds a lap faster than Valside. So I don't know, Valside seems to be maybe falling asleep in the second half of this race. His lap times have dropped off, whereas Big Wilk has started to wake up, rubbed his eyes, and after the pit stops, he's like, right, let's go. There's definitely more points to be had. So
yeah, I'm sure he's pushing to the end now as well to see how far he can push these tyres. He seems to be the only one that's not struggling. I haven't seen him have any moments. I haven't seen him do anything untoward in his car. He seems to be smooth everywhere we watch him compared to a few of the other guys. Obviously, Martin getting it sideways. Clank before his disconnect got very sideways a couple of times. So yeah, Big Wilk keeping it clean, keeping it tidy in his Ford.
Yeah. And we'll just have a look at the time penalty to see how much he has. He's only got 1 second of a time penalty. So, in reality, that is why he's pushing so hard, because the gap is actually only 5 seconds to Velside. He could pick up P2 here if he can get the gap down to 5 seconds to Velside.
Yeah,
I know he just lost it. He just had a bit of a moment there, just as you were giving him a bit of praise. But if he can get the gap down to 5 seconds as across the finish line, he will pick up P2.
yeah, that's what he's asking for as he starts lap 34 now of 36.
And I think Velside has just realised this and he's putting in a 2:05.8, and that matched Big Wilk's last lap. But we'll see what Velside can do now. Straight away, the gap is down to 8.7 seconds. Velside seems to be really struggling in the first sector, whereas Big Wilk is absolutely thriving.
Yeah, it could still go either way. Only a couple of laps for Big Wilk to close that gap down, but going to be pushing every ounce out of that Ford, as will Velside, to try and pull the gap away. Goes on to that long back straight down towards the hairpin of turn 12. You may see Big Wilk here actually get a bit of slipstream from a back marker, which could help him out.
Yeah, a fellow Ford driver off pole in front.
Can't quite see
one of the
just
Baruta
off camera
boys.
there.
There he is. Or is it pole? No, it's deep. It's the P9.
Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
blue flags will be obeyed here, give Big Wilk the opportunity to still chase down Velside. I think he's gained about half a second this lap so far according to that delta. See what it is at the line though, because I know that can fluctuate over a lap.
Yeah, it's not really reliable unfortunately, but we'll have to have a look at what lap times the guys have done to see if they're improving or extending. Yeah, Deep has pulled into the pits to get fully out of his way. What are the lap times? Velside's done a 2:06 flat, and Big Wilk's done a 2:04.5. That's insane. Yeah, Big Wilk is on the big push now. He knows that he can get this. There's 2 laps remaining. He just needs another 2 laps, the same as that there, and he will get it under 5 seconds. This is the finish that we've been asking for.
Yeah, they may be 7 seconds apart, but in reality, this is as close as the race is going to get at this stage when we're down to 11 drivers from the disconnects. So you can get that second step on the podium. Martin, fair play to him, he's taken advantage of the misfortunes of Velside needing to take that second pit stop and pulled away for the victory. Looks like 2 laps to go. I don't think Velside's going to close down 27 seconds somehow, but Big Wilk on this huge push now to try and get within that 5 seconds of penalties that Velside has over Big Wilk.
Yeah, the gap down to 7.7, 7.6, 7.5. Yeah, it seems that Velside seems to be really struggling. Yeah, this is actually reminds me ever so slightly of the 1994 Suzuka race where Damon Hill won, where he had to try and hold off Michael Schumacher. He had to hold a gap because back then there was a Donnenager time because of the rain. and he had to hold the gap to Schumacher, and Schumacher couldn't close the gap. But so basically, Big Wilk as Schumacher and Velside as Damon Hill here. In real life, Damon Hill won out.
Yeah, he just has another 1.5 seconds.
Is under serious pressure now.
Yeah, that gap has come down.
He's
It's
under
almost
serious
perfect.
pressure
It's
now.
almost perfect. If we have that same lap times again, it's going to be probably hundredths in it at the line. So we'll see Big Wilk 1/10 up on his fastest lap too. So he is absolutely pushing for this.
He's absolutely pushing like crazy.
He knows it's still there. He knows he can still get this. You know, he's a great exit here.
We're gonna have a little look at where Martin is. Martin's coming around the last the long right-hander. He's got 2 corners left. It's been a pretty exciting race for him, to be fair. 1 corner remains after this. It's been yo-yoing for the lead. 1 corner remains, and there it is. The checkered flag for Martin flashes the lights. Fantastic win from WMDO Martin.
Yeah,
but we're going to have to jump away pretty straight away. Oh, and we'll jump to Velside to see how he's getting on with Big Wilk. Big Wilk is 6 seconds behind it, but it fluctuates like mad in the final sector. Can Velside hold off and grab P2, or will Big Wilk steal it literally on the last lap at the line?
A quick look at penalties now, just before, to see what's going on with it. It is still 5 seconds. What?
Can Big Wilk make it? There's the drag to the line. Can he do it?
Does not quite do it. That must have been so close.
But his last lap was at 2:03.4.
That was a huge
Big Wilk's last lap
push.
was insane at 2:03.4.
We have Ultimate Cars. Got a bit quiet towards the end of the race. Had a great start pushing at the front with Velside, but unfortunately dropped off the pace a little bit and was battling with Clank. He's going to bring in P4 there. You see Lord Idaho now battling with Gwegwin, also on the final lap. No penalties, so this is a race for position.
Yeah, they just swapped positions as they came down in the last couple of corners there, but Gwegwin winning out in the end, grabbing the P5.
And he's run out of fuel. I can't see underneath the race complete sign.
Stopping on fuel. Oh, Lord Idaho was trying to save fuel in the last lap, and he's run out of fuel.
Oh, that's so unfortunate. All I can see is the race complete, but I can just assume he's just trying to get to the line. Is he going to get assistance?
Can he get to the line? Here's Needlelap. Is Needlelap going to push him? Oh, he doesn't. He gets out of the way and pushes. Pushes for the line. Lord Needlelap is not going to finish the race, and that is an absolute nightmare for Lord Idaho.
Close,
but he just got his calculations ever so wrong.
Ticklish also out of fuel, or what's happening with Ticklish here?
Now, Ticklish is 11.6, but the race is complete in 4 seconds. So I do believe he's already crossed the line.
Yeah, just there.
But Lord Idaho is classed as a DNF, but your race winner, WMDR Martin, taking the win. And yeah, he actually posted the fastest lap at 2:02.6. Fantastic lap from race from Martin even. Velside in P2, Big Wilk in P3. The Fords looked pretty handy here to taking up P2 and P3, and Ultimate Kazi in 4th, and the Corvette. Gwegwin in 5th, and the Corvette as well. And I'll let you take the rest, Kiki.
Yeah, we have Needlelap picking up 6th place, Lord Idaho taking 7th, Ticklish Picklewickle in 8th, Exus taking 9th, Paul rounding out our top 10, and Deepak Raj taking 11th there. Unfortunately, with that disconnect, we did lose about 10 drivers altogether, which was really unfortunate, but still, that end there for Big Wilk ended up being 1.5 down at the very end, but it seemed so much closer than that when he was pushing. He was gaining huge amounts of time every single lap, over a second a lap on Velside to try and take that 2nd place off him, but at least it was only pre-season for him, eh?
Yeah, it's just what we like to see. But incredible battling. But it's a shame that it wasn't that bit closer. I'm not saying that we want to see Velside be beaten, but we just want to see some close racing. And if it's down to the stopwatch, that's what we got to deal with. That's what we got to deal with.
Indeed we do, indeed we do. So congratulations there to Martin. But let's take a look at the league calendar coming up, so people know what they have to look forward to for this season. So today was the pre-season at Circuit of the Americas. Next week will be round 1. It will be at Watkins Glen International GP Circuit for a 90-minute race to kick off the season. Looking to be a fantastic one there. Followed up, we're staying in America for Road America. A 70-minute race there in the wet weather. We'll coming over to the UK then for Alton Park. Another 70-minute race. Should be a tight, twisty track for these GTEs. Should be very interesting to see how they get on. Laguna Seca back out to America for 70 minutes of Laguna Seca. And then over to Japan for what's looking to be probably the best race on the calendar. I have to say that I've changed my mind since the start. Fuji GP for 90 minutes. Starting in the wet, getting dry. That one is going to be incredible, especially after they've had 4 other races to get used to these cars and understand how they drive and how they get on. And then
finally, you're thinking how I'm thinking.
And then we end the season in Germany at Oschersleben for a 70-minute race. So definitely an interesting calendar. A few power tracks, a few twisty tracks, and a few mixed weathers in between. A very interesting season. And I don't believe we're going to be getting any interviews today for the pre-season, but we look forward to continuing this next week. This has been the pre-season for the AOR GTE League on Project Cars 2. If you want to find out more, you can head to apexonlineracing.com/community, and from there you can find the Project Cars 2 part of the forum and get involved if you wish to drive. But that's it from me. Anything else for you to add, JP?
Not really. Just that tune in next week and you will see some fantastic racing, and us two lovely buddies will be hopefully bringing some beautiful pleasure to your ears as we commentate over the fantastic scenes that we will see. So hopefully see you next week.
See you next week. Good night from me.
Good night.